shall I bother to go in at all? At 10:30 I think that I'm tired. But then 2 hours later I'm sitting up, stock still in bed. I go for a walk on the common, sometimes. I go out around 3. Just looking around and thinking, always the same thoughts. Something. I find myself thinking, something must come of all this. I try to go out. I try to enjoy myself. I think, oh, tonight, I'll go out, I'll get drunk. But my foot's on the floor, I'm pumping. I'm flooring that fucking pedal and nothing's happening. I'm getting no fucking pleasure at all. It's like, like earlier you were saying, how all the time you felt you'd been loyal to her. You'd also been loyal to something inside yourself. I suppose I feel, what happens now? Do we just leave it? Just leave it completely? And if we did, isn't that like admitting our guilt?
Tom.
No, look, isn't that like saying we did behave shabbily? And oh, it was just an affair? And then when she found out it was all over, doesn't that seem to you somehow wrong?
Tom, there is something I do have to deal with. There's this whole world I'm now in. This world's values is different. I mean, the people, the thinking, is different. It's not at all like the world which you know. I mean, what I'm saying is if we can find a way of working out keeping in touch, then there are certain decisions that I've made and you have to respect those decisions.
Why? I mean, yes.
Good.
Sure, I'm not a complete idiot.
No.
You're saying you've made an informed and serious choice. You've chosen to live somewhere in near Arctic conditions off the North Circular. Why should I have any problem with that? No, really. I mean, look around you. Look at this place. Why should I have any problem with it? Really? Put a bucket in the corner, take hostages, and you can say this is fucking baby.
Tom, I have to tell you, this place is really rather reasonable.
Oh, really?
As it happens, I get it at a very cheap rent.
I should hope.
It's you, Tom. You've lost all sense of reality. I mean, this place isn't special. It isn't especially horrible. For God's sake, this is how everyone is.
Oh, please, let's be serious.
I mean it.
Kyra, honestly.
No, this is interesting. This is the heart of it. It wasn't until I left your restaurants, it wasn't until I left your ricotta and carpaccio stuffed restaurants of yours. It wasn't until I deserted that Chelsea milieu.
Which in my memory you liked pretty well.
I do like it, yes. It's not something I'd ever deny, but it wasn't until I got out of your limousines, until I left that warm bubble of good taste and money in which you exist.
Thank you.
It was only then that I realised most people live in a way which is altogether quite different.
Well, of course.
And you have no right to look down on that life.
You're right.
Thank you.
Of course, that's right. However, in one thing you're different. I do have to say that to you, Kyra. In one thing you're different to everybody else in this part of town. You're the only person who's fought so hard to get into it when everybody else has fought so hard to get out.
Alright, very funny. For as long as I've known you, you love this.
Loved what?
Whenever I say anything serious, there's nothing you like more than winding me up.
Alright, well I accept that. But it's hard to resist enjoying winding people up when they've got a little metal key sticking out their backs.
And what does that mean?
Okay, you're right. I know nothing about anything. As you'd say, I'm pampered. Frank drives me around. But even I know that East Ham is on one side of town, and this place we're in now is somewhere quite else.
So, that's just chance.
Oh, really?
A friend found this place. Adele was desperate. She was in the most desperate straits. Alright, I'll admit, it wasn't exactly convenient.
It was sort of a sacrifice, is that the word? You work in one dreadful place, but of course for you that's not nearly enough. You must live in another dreadful place, and then spend the rest of the day commuting between the two.
Oh, for God's sake, that's not what I do.
And what's more, listening to the people on the bus, as if they were Socrates, as if they were Einstein, mopping up their every remark, just because they happen to travel by bus.
It's this that's interesting. How you're threatened.
Me? Threatened?
Of course.
By what?
I remember whenever quite a normal person is praised, a waiter, a chambermaid, somebody on quite a lowly job, you become like a dog on a leash. You can't wait for them to do something stupid, and then great, you found your moment survived.
That isn't true.
Isn't it? I remember once saying Frank, although did his best to hide it, underneath was really quite right. And you said, oh, come on now, Kyra, let's face it, there's abuse and abuse a driver.
Well, what am I meant to say? You want me to lie? It's only the truth.
You don't talk to him. You don't ever talk to him.
Frank? I talk to Frank. He tells me how Tottenham are doing. He tells me who Cindy Crawford is sleeping with now.
Oh, really?
I mean, please, I'm not saying Frank was born stupid. Please, I wouldn't say that. But if you turned him upside down, his brains would come out on the floor.
Why do you think I'm working where I am? I'm sick of this denial of everyone's potential. Whole groups of people just written off.
Oh, I see. Right, you've been reborn.
Oh.
Now I understand you. You see good in everyone now. How comforting. Of course. But if I could be reborn as anyone, I'm not sure Julie Andrews would be my first choice. I mean, Kyra, please. As you'd say, let's be serious. I mean, just look at this place. It's screaming its message. I mean, for instance, I tell you, look at that heater in the corner. This bloody heater is standing here. Screaming its message. I mean, there are shops. I mean, shops on the high street. Actual shops that sell heaters. These heaters actually heat. But of course, for you, that's not enough. Because this heater must fulfill some crucial psychological role in your life. You accuse me of being a monster. You say that I am guilty. You accuse me of fucking up the life of my horrible son. But at least I admit it. At least this evening, I took that on board. But you, Jesus is like talking to a loony. It's like my dear old friend Kyra has joined an obscure religious cult. At least I haven't entered an exercise to see how hard I can make my own way of life.
You think that's what I'm doing? You really think that's what this is?
I mean, I've been listening to the stuff you've been telling me. The bus, the school, the place in which you choose to live. And I'm thinking, my dear old friend Kyra, she's joined the Kensal Rise chapter. She's performing an act of contrition. I mean, Lord goodness. Everything's psychological. I can't be happy because I've not come to terms with things that I've done. But you're like page 1, a textbook Freudian study. Your whole fucking life is an act of denial. It's like, you know what it's called? It's called throwing Teddy in the corner. You're running so hard you don't know you're in flight.
Running.
Yes, of course, it's obvious.
And I don't suppose you could tell me, I'm running from what?
Do I need to say?
Oh, this, honestly, it's contemptible. Why do men always think it's about them?
Because in this case it is.
Oh, I'll say this for you. You've always understood procedure. You've always known the order in which things should be done. You fuck me first, and then you criticise my lifestyle.
Now, Kyra.
Doing it the other way round, of course, would be a terrible tactical mistake.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, oh. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you'd started, God that love you, if If you'd have started off by calling me weak and perverse, if you'd have come straight out with, I was fleeing from you, but oh no, the great restaurateur knows the order. You don't serve the pudding before the fucking soup.
I refrained from commenting only because I thought it was so obvious it didn't need to be said. You have a first-class degree, for Christ's sake.
Oh, really?
You came out top of your year. I can't see anything more tragic, more stupid, than you sitting here wasting your talents.
Am I wasting them? I don't think so.
Kyra, you're teaching kids at the bottom of the heap.
Well, exactly. I was using my talents. I'm just using them in a way in which you don't approve.
God, you claim I'm dismissive of people. You think I don't give them a chance. But any of those people who work for me, when they saw what you were doing, when they saw what you were doing with those talents that God gave you, they would be so bloody angry.
Would they?
Of course. They wouldn't understand you any more than I do. They would simply say you were shallow and spoiled. You know you could be teaching at any university. They take you tomorrow. But of course for Kyra that's not enough. Because for Kyra, nowhere is good enough. Except of course some place that's no good at all. Of course it's only here, only in this country, where it's thought that to get on is a crime. Only in this country where it's thought to achieve is wrong.
What do you call achieve?
Sitting in North London, spinning your wheels, out of stubbornness, sheer goddamn female stubbornness.
Female? That's a rather odd choice of word. You see, I think this is typical. This is something that's happened. It's only happened of late. That people should need to question why I'm helping these children. Yeah. I'm helping them because they need to be helped. Everyone makes merry discussing motive. Of course she does a living where she does. She works in the East End. Well, she must be unhappy. Oh, she does it because of a lack in herself. She doesn't have a man. If she had a man, she wouldn't need to do it. Do you think she's a dyke? She must be some fucked up. She must be an Amazon. She must be some kind of weirdo to work where she does. Well, I say, why the hell does it matter why I do what I'm doing? Why anyone goes out and helps? The reason is of hardly primary importance. The fact is if I didn't do it, it wouldn't get done. I'm sick of these sophistries, of these right-winged fuckers that wouldn't lift a finger themselves. Yet they work contentedly in banks and offices, yet now they sit pontificating in Parliament, in papers, impugning our judgments, questioning our motives. And why? Because they themselves need to feel so much better by putting down anyone else who's working so much harder than theirs. You only have to say the words social worker, probation officer, counsellor for everyone in this country to sneer. Do you know what social workers do every day? They try and clear out society's drains. They clear out the rubbish. They do what no one else is doing, what no one else is willing to do. Oh Christ, and for that, do we thank them? Oh no, we take our own rotten consciousness, we wipe it all over the social worker's face and say, if I did it, oh no, excuse me, if I did the job, oh no, excuse me, I wouldn't do it like that. Well, I say, come on then, you fucking try it, journalist, politician. You talk to the addicts, hold the families together. You stop the kids from stealing in the streets, deal with the couples that beat each other up. Come on, you give it a go, seeing as you're so full of fucking advice. Come on, join us, this works one big casino. Sure, anyone can play, but there's only one rule. You can't play for nothing. You have to buy some chips and sit at the table. And if you won't play, pay with your own time, with your own effort. Well, I'm sorry. Fuck off.
All right, very well. I do see what you're saying.
I should hope so.
This work you're doing leaves you deeply fulfilled. But Kyra, are you saying you're happy?
Oh, come on now, Tom. That's not fair.
Why not?
It's a shitty kind of question. You know it is. It's a game. I'm not playing that game.
The funny thing is, do you get it? see, you talk about escaping your father. You were always telling us the chilly, cold childhood you had. But here you are, building exactly the same kind of bunker he did.
Nonsense.
Living exactly the same kind of isolated life. You end up here in this room with ice on the window panes, the wind blowing off the bloody English Channel. And no one allowed to get near. The only time we were happy living in our house was when we were living in our family. No, that's true.
I know that's what you'd like to be true.
Because in this case, it is true.
On no account must I be happy. On no account must I have succeeded in getting away. You walk in this room and at once you're picking up folders.
What folders?
Glancing at the bookshelves, lifting my papers. Oh God, is there any juice of a man?
Oh, really?
Oh, does she have a boyfriend?
I never did any such thing.
Searching for any male objects, any ties, any gifts, any socks.
Oh, come on now, that's ridiculous.
Is it? Your whole body language expresses it. Ownership.
Kyra, you know that's not true.
I mean, there's this arrogance, this unbelievable arrogance at this middle-aged man, to imagine that everyone's behaving, his ex's behaving, is always in some direct reaction to him.
Well, it is.
Oh, God, you were saying, God, you don't think of us as objects.
I don't.
We're not possessions, that's what you say. Yet you're standing there, complaining your wife admitted to forgive you.
She did.
Tom, I have to ask you, why the hell should she? When all the time you were dreaming of somebody else.
All right.
Jesus.
All right.
I mean, earlier this evening you were saying that all the while she was dying, you were thinking of me. That's right, yet you're standing there, demanding my sympathy for the terrible harm which you're claiming she caused you? I mean, Tom, even you must see it. After all, being a successful businessman, sweet wife, me adoring you as well, you're richly deserving of compassion. Your life is really rather jolly hard.
All right, very well.
But even you must see that the balance of sympathy in this case maybe, just maybe, lies somewhere else.
You only say that because you weren't there.
Oh, this again.
Yes, because that's at the heart of it. That's at the heart of all this.
Is that what you think? Is that what you really think?
You know what I'm saying is right. You simply walked out. You simply just walked out